Week 1 of DPL Season 6 has come to an end, and while there were many big-time wheelchairs and games that looked like they weren't being taken seriously, this game between Chip and Rye looked to be a deciding game for the series. While Wings end up winning the series, we can see how crucial of a player Chip will be to Wig if they truly want to make it all the way to the playoffs. Starting from team preview, we can see that Rye has multiple rockers that he can run up with Yuxi being his most obvious choice. As for Chip, he really only has two, but one of them is far more ideal than the other. Rocks will more than likely be staying up, as the only two defoggers in the game are Mega Altaria and Empoleon, neither of which will likely defog. With this in mind, Chip could be thinking of a Spike's Rose Raid to take advantage of the lack of defogging this game will have. It wouldn't be too surprising if it were Pyappa Berry 2 for the Mega Gardevoir, while also being faster than the Mamoswine. Keldeo also looks like it could be a massive threat, with the only real switch-in being Yuxi, but that is unreliable at best. Looking over at Rye's side, those first three mons of Mega Gardevoir, Mamoswine, and Infernape are going to be very hard for Chip to deal with, forcing this to become an offensive and quick game as most ORAS games are. We can see each side chose their most obvious leads to do the exact same thing as each other. Both want the opposing wall as chipped as possible while keeping their own healthy, and both want rocks up as soon as possible. Rye reveals the Psyshock Yuxi for the possible Calm Mind Keldeo and to hit Rose Raid harder, but Chip gets the most free Mega possible. And who knows what final move that Yuxi is, as he chooses not to U-turn and go hard Empoleon, as rocks become even less punishing for Chip's team. But can someone tell me why he decides to Scald here after his Sugar Berry was already popped? Mega Altaria escapes without getting burned and proceeds to kill off the Empoleon with a crucial critical hit. But now looking at Chip's team, what's the Mamoswine answer? Well, we see it come in as quickly as it went once the air balloon is popped. The fact that Rye chose to Ice Shard over Icicle Crash still has me wondering if he had misclicked. Mega Gardevoir somehow becomes a support mon in its best tier and proceeds to look like an Aromatisse in current Gen 8. Are you sighing with me? Rye decides to make another donation to the Metagross family, but it was all for his setup Infernape. Judging from what happens next, you might wonder if Rye wishes he had Psyshocked first before clicking Stealth Rocks on Piloswine when the game started on turn 2. That would have led Rye to clicking Flash Cannon over Scald later on, as Mega Altaria would have probably already had a Dragon Dance up. And he'd still most likely be in the same position with just Piloswine having less health. Psyshock was also a safe play that guaranteed the damage because there was no way Chip would switch out before getting up his Stealth Rocks. But no worries, as Scarf Mamoswine should be ending this game barring an Aqua Jet Keldeo, right? Well, as it turns out, Rye also needed a little more damage on Keldeo at some point earlier in the game. I wonder when he could have done that, huh? Though Chip comes out on top, this was without a doubt a close game that could have come down to a few rolls. Rye wants to surely bounce back as captain of his team, but so long as his team wins the week, it shouldn't matter to him. Chip gets a clean victory, but it still isn't enough. Though it's only week 1, it makes you think, who else can Chip beat on his journey to not only win the championship, but also possibly win the ORAS MVP?